On this edition of SMA Journal, we have an update from Blackrock Road on the condition of the church. A report on 30 years of the Community Employment Programme for Wilton, a visit to the historic St. Joseph's Cemetery in Cork, a reflection from Topo Island, Nigeria, and an Irish and Zambian school link up on Zoom.
Well, as of now, the public church remains closed. In the meantime, we've implemented plans that our masses continue, particularly our weekday masses. They're scheduled for 7:15 a.m. and 10 a.m. and these masses are held in our parish kitchenette and parish office. Our weekend masses, our two masses for Sunday, are scheduled for 10 o'clock and 12, and these are held in the Ballintemple National School, the Porter Cabins there on the Boring Manor Road. In the meantime, discussions continue with our engineer and builders, and of course with our Provincial Bursar's Office concerning costings and planning for the future. I will keep you updated as we progress on this project.
It's a privilege actually being here at a scheme that has been in operation since the inception.
The Community Employment Programme is celebrating its 30th year of significantly changing people's lives. This month, Wilton Parish Centre received its commemorative plaque from the Department of Social Protection and took time out to take part in the celebration.
Southside Training and Development was established 30 years ago under the umbrella of FÁS as a community employment scheme. There are approximately 813 schemes nationwide. So what is community employment? It's a work and training programme designed to help people who are long-term unemployed or otherwise disadvantaged to get back to work by offering them part-time and temporary placements in jobs based within local communities. The project office is based in the SMA Parish Centre here in Wilton, and within the scheme currently there are 24 employees based in Bishopstown Meals on Wheels, Bishopstown Senior Social Centre, Postnatal Depression in Cork University Hospital, the SMA Parish Centre, Cork Our Cancer Support House based in Sarsfields Road, Larson Toker, Toker Meals on Wheels, Ballyfihan Toker Community Development Project and Lincoln White Street in Cork. Typical roles within the scheme are caretakers, cleaners, coffee bar assistants, community liaison workers, receptionists, administrators and drivers, to name but a few. Employees work 19.5 hours a week in the sponsoring location. They're all offered training and many take the offer up because it gives them a qualification. They add it to their CV and eventually they apply for jobs and move on to external full-time employment. Assistance is given to them during their time on community employment, including job coaching, interview tips and techniques, and CV development. They're also offered external work placement opportunities. For this academic year, we are delighted to say that we have 3 people going to UCC at night. 2 are in their second year of major awards, and the last one is in their first year, which is a certificate. The objective of community employment is for people to realise their potential and move on to full-time employment.
The Community Employment Scheme provides massive support to the local community wherever it is based, especially here in Wilton. And the value of community employment is only seen when that service is gone. But obviously the services that are provided here are wide-ranging and of complete, utter benefit to the community.
I work very closely with the scheme, especially with the scheme supervisor Nelly, and we're responsible for the funding of the scheme, and we work in unison to make sure that people are paid on time and make sure that they get the training that they need. The sponsor board here are absolutely amazing. They're hands-on, an excellent scheme and very well run.
I've been a volunteer sponsor for over 30 years, representing SMA within the Southside Training and Development Project. So we've seen huge changes in the participants, and the progression that they've made with the opportunities they've been given within the project. So we've had CE workers in all areas in our parish centre, working in administration services, mass office, caretakers, coffee shop assistants, gardeners, and all of them having the opportunity to participate in different types of training, and some have even gone on to further education, including university.
So when I originally started here, I started in the coffee shop, serving teas, coffees, scones for the groups. I then was trusted to go into the office to do the admin side, which I got a taste for, which I enjoyed. I then got the opportunity to further my education on that side in regards to computers. When my time here was finished, I then had the confidence, because they gave me the confidence, to work in a bigger company. When I started in the factory, they heard that I had the experience and a background, so they too gave me the opportunity to develop that, and I put all the skills that I learned here into that, and I became a PA in that company for a number of managers.
Well, when I started here first, I wasn't working and I had found it difficult to find a job, but suddenly I had these new opportunities open to me. I was able to do some training as well. I had some structure back in my life. I had to get up every morning, do my work, go out, go back again, which is very important, I do think, for people. I was also given the opportunity to do training, which I did do. I have kind of an accounts background, and I was able to do payroll and accounts, and some courses that you probably, you mightn't have money to do, or you mightn't have the time to do it. But in the end, I was here for a year. I had the opportunity to continue my contract with Southside, but as it happened, I was offered a job and I went and took the job, and here I am today, back to say how wonderful, truly wonderful these courses are, these community employment, because if you really want to go back out to work, I would highly recommend that you go and do one of these. You get further training, and you've got a lot more under your belt than you had before you started.
As Parish Priest of Wilton, I would like to express my appreciation and acknowledge the contribution of the community employment programme that has been located here for 30 years. The great diversity of other programmes that have emanated from here is also wonderful. And I'd like to acknowledge Anne Cronin, the director here in the centre, for her 30 years service to the programme.
Nestled within the suburbs of Cork City lies the historic site of St Joseph's Cemetery, Ballyphehane. Before it was a cemetery, the site was home to Cork's Botanic Gardens. Though the gardens are long gone, the memory of them is preserved in the name of the road that leads to the cemetery, Botanic Road.
In 1830, the site was chosen by Father Theobald Matthew, the Apostle of Temperance, to become Cork's first Catholic burial ground, St Joseph's Cemetery. Father Matthew opened the cemetery to all of the people of Cork and granted free burials to the poor. Fittingly, Father Matthew is buried here at the centre of the old cemetery, still fondly known by locals as Matthew Cemetery. In 1879, the cemetery passed into the hands of the SMA Fathers.
Father Joseph Zimmerman, founder of the Irish province of the Society of African Missions, designed the cemetery chapel. The chapel's steep roof, inspired by the churches in Zimmerman's native Switzerland, is built to shed heavy snow. This feature is mirrored in St Joseph's Church, Wilton, in a kind of twin design.
The income of the cemetery provided to the SMA was used to support the training of priests at the SMA College in Wilton. Some of the first students of the college, along with early members of the SMA, are buried here together in a shared plot. More than 200,000 people are buried in St. Joseph's Cemetery. The family plot is the final resting place of over 10,000 of those people, buried in a mass grave, marked only by a single headstone.
Many well-known Cork figures are buried here, such as Edward Mulhare, Cathy Barry and Mary McSweeney. Edward Mulhare was a Cork-born Hollywood actor who appeared in many films and TV series. He is best known for his role as Devon Miles in Knight Rider. Cathy Barry was a colourful Cork character, a Shawley and owner of a famous tavern in Cork located in the area known as the Colquay.
Mary McSweeney, sister to Terence McSweeney, who was the former Lord Mayor of Cork, who died on hunger strike in 1920. In the 1921 Irish elections, Mary McSweeney was elected to Dáil Éireann, taking the seat that had once been held by her brother. Today, St. Joseph's Cemetery is owned by Cork City Council, with burials restricted to existing family plots. While Cork has changed over time, the cemetery remains much the same, the memories and stories of the past preserved within its stone walls.
My name is Tim Cullinan, SMA, and I've been asked to respond to the question, what can modern OLA and SMA missionaries learn from the early OLA and SMA missionaries? I will answer the question by telling you of an experience I had in Nigeria. On one occasion, I went with a number of OLA sisters to a place called Topo, which is a small island off the coast of Lagos. The island was leased by the British colonial government to the early missionaries for a project which would combine book learning, practical skills and coconut farming. Members of the SMA arrived there in 1875 and the OLA sisters in 1890. They worked in collaboration with each other for the following 70 years. Besides the government's plan, an aim of the Topo project from the missionaries' point of view was to provide a home for orphans and freed slaves who would attend the school they established, with the added hope that some of the children would embrace the Catholic faith and form the nucleus of a Christian village. As time went on, a teacher training college was set up to train teachers for schools in the greater Lagos area. The sisters did not confine themselves to education. They established a clinic and went by canoe up and down the creeks, reaching out to women beside the creeks, providing medical and maternity services. One OLA sister, Sister Jarlath, was honoured by the Queen of England for her work with women. The last missionary left the island in 1962. Today, the convent, the chapel, the Father's House, the Teachers' Training College and other buildings are in ruins. The most moving part of my time in Topo was a visit to the cemetery, where a number of the sisters and fathers who had worked there are buried, many of them dying in their late 20s and early 30s. Mass was celebrated in the ruins of an old chapel, and after the Mass, there was a procession to the cemetery. After the recitation of a decade of the Rosary, an OLA sister, Sister Maura Hayes, came forward to address everyone present. She took out of her pocket what seemed like an old letter and began to read from the paper. Sister Monica, OLA, died aged 25 years, buried here in Topo Island. Sister Jean-Marie, OLA, aged 23 years, buried here on Topo Island. Sister Maria Therese, aged 27 years, and buried here on Topo Island, and on and on. As she read out the names and ages of the sisters who were buried in Topo. Then Sister Maura put the paper back in her pocket and spoke to all of us present. And she said, "These sisters and SMA fathers who were buried in Topo had a dream, and they were ready to pay the price to make their dream come true. Sisters and SMA of today, do you have a dream? What is your dream? Are you prepared to pay the price to make that dream come true? For a few minutes, a deep silence descended on all of us. And in the silence, each of us was invited to ask ourselves 3 questions. What is my own dream? Is it in line with the dream of the OLAs and the SMAs? And am I prepared to pay the price to make that dream a reality? Let the words of the letter of the Hebrews speak to us, OLA and SMA. Remember your leaders who preach the word of God to you, and as you reflect on the outcome of their lives, imitate their faith.
On the 30th of September 2025, the SMA Media Centre in Zambia facilitated a live conference between a school in Zambia called Malasha and Kilbeggan Secondary School in Ireland. Despite approximately 11,000 miles between the 2 institutions, participants were able to see, hear and engage in meaningful conversation with one another. The event provided a valuable opportunity for students from both continents to communicate directly and share their cultural values and perspectives. The conference was organized by the SMA Media Centre in Dola in collaboration with Mr. Paul O'Flynn of the SMA Media in Ireland, with significant contributions from both schools. Notably, Maria Glenn, a dedicated teacher at Kilbeggan School, formerly Convent School of Mercy, played an instrumental role in ensuring the success of this initiative. In Zambia, Mr. Mabo also offered considerable assistance in making the event possible. Overall, this exchange was highly beneficial, allowing pupils from both regions to gain unique insights and experiences through international collaboration.